Jacob Fatu's chilling warning. Fatu vs Sikoa, warning issued. WWE Backstage shock moment. The moment everything shifted. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. What if the biggest cracks in the bloodline aren't coming from enemies outside the family, but from inside the very people Roman Reigns trusted the most? And what if the real tension backstage isn't about titles, but about something far more personal involving Jacob Fatu and the future of the entire dynasty? Because this wasn't just another calm night in WWE. No, this was one of those nights where you could feel something was off before anything even happened. Like walking into a room and realizing everybody already had a conversation without you. And Roman Reigns, he noticed it immediately. Backstage at SmackDown, the atmosphere wasn't loud, it wasn't chaotic, it was worse. It was quiet in that uncomfortable way where nobody is really looking at each other for too long. You know that kind of silence where even the production crew starts pretending to focus on cables and monitors just to avoid eye contact? Yeah, that kind. Roman walks in, slow, calm, but there's that energy around him. The kind that doesn't need volume to feel dangerous. He doesn't say much at first. He just looks around. And that alone is enough to make people straighten up. The Usos are there. Jimmy and Jay. Two men who have stood beside him, fought beside him, bled beside him, but right now, something is different. You can see it in their posture. Not fear exactly, but tension. Like they already know what conversation is coming and they're not excited for it. And then there's Jacob Fatu. Now that's where things get even more complicated. Because Jacob Fatu isn't just some new name in the bloodline conversation. He's that wildcard energy. That unpredictable storm that doesn't ask for permission before shaking the room. And the moment Roman's eyes land on the situation surrounding Jacob, you can almost feel the temperature drop another few degrees. Roman finally breaks the silence. Not loud. Not angry. Just direct. What's going on? Simple question. But in this family, simple questions are never simple. Jay shifts slightly. Jimmy glances away for half a second too long. That's all Roman needs to see. You know how sometimes you don't need a full confession to know the truth? You just need body language? Yeah. Roman is a master at that. And right now, he's reading everything without a single word being spoken back. And here's where it starts getting interesting. Because the issue isn't just Jacob Fatu being in the picture. The issue is what the Usos might or might not have done, or agreed to, without Roman's full awareness. Roman steps closer. Not rushed. Not aggressive. Just controlled pressure. You boys been talking behind my back? That line hits harder than a steel chair sometimes. Because it's not just about betrayal. It's about loyalty. And in the bloodline, loyalty is the only currency that actually matters. Jimmy tries to respond first, but you can tell he's choosing every word carefully. It's not like that. And that might be the most dangerous sentence in wrestling history. Because it's not like that usually means it absolutely is like that, but nobody wants to say it out loud yet. Roman tilts his head slightly. That look. Fans know that look. That quiet, don't insult my intelligence look. And then Jay finally speaks. We didn't bring him in to go against you. Pause. That sentence alone tells Roman everything and nothing at the same time. Because it confirms involvement, but denies intent. And that gray area? That's where real conflict lives. Roman doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. But you did bring him in. Silence again. And now you can feel it building. Not a match yet. Not a fight. But something that could turn into one very quickly. Jacob Fatu, meanwhile, hasn't said a word. He's just watching. And that's what makes it even more uncomfortable. Because Jacob doesn't look nervous. He looks like someone trying to figure out whether he's in a negotiation or a test. Roman finally turns slightly toward him. You got something to say? That's the moment everyone backstage probably stops pretending to work. Jacob pauses for a second. Then calmly. I didn't come here to disrespect nobody. Not aggressive. Not submissive. Just firm. And that's the problem. Because Roman respects firmness. But he also respects control. And right now, control feels like it's slipping in multiple directions at once. The Usos are stuck in the middle. Jacob is unpredictable. And Roman is trying to understand if he's being challenged internally or if this is just another misunderstood family situation spiraling out of control. You can almost hear the fans in the distance if this were happening live. Oh, here we go. Because everyone knows where this kind of tension usually leads. Roman steps back slightly, pacing just a bit. That slow walk that usually means he's thinking 10 steps ahead while everyone else is still stuck on step 1. You two keep forgetting something, he says finally. And now the room gets even quieter. You don't make moves in this family without me knowing. That line lands heavy. Because it's not just leadership. It's identity. Roman isn't just talking like a cousin. He's talking like the foundation everything else is built on. But here's the twist. The Usos don't look guilty anymore. They look conflicted. Which is worse? Because guilt means you messed up. Conflict means you believed you were doing the right thing. Jay takes a breath. He's family too. Boom. There it is. The sentence that changes everything. Because now this isn't just about Roman versus Usos. This is about expanding the definition of family inside the bloodline. And Roman has always been very specific about that definition. Roman slowly turns back. That's not your call. And just like that, the tension spikes again. No shouting. No fighting. Just words hitting like finishers. Jacob shifts slightly now, finally speaking again. I ain't here to replace nobody. But notice what he didn't say. He didn't say he wouldn't take a spot if it opened. And Roman hears that too. Because Roman hears everything. There's a long pause now. The kind of pause that makes you forget this is scripted entertainment for a second and just feel like you're watching real human pressure building. Then Roman does something unexpected. He smiles slightly. Not happy. Not amused. More like understanding. You think I don't see what's happening here? That's where the mystery deepens. Because now it's not just confrontation. It's awareness. Roman is hinting that he's already 2 steps ahead, already aware of conversations that happen without him, already piecing together alliances forming in shadows. And that's the scariest version of Roman Reigns. Not the fighter. The thinker. He looks at the Usos again. You boys are trying to balance something you can't balance. That hits deeper than anything else said so far. Because family loyalty, opportunity, legacy, respect, all of it colliding at once. Jay looks frustrated now, finally breaking a bit. We're not against you. But Roman cuts him off immediately. You're not with me either. Silence again. And that's when it hits everyone watching mentally, this isn't a misunderstanding. This is a shift. A slow, uncomfortable shift in power dynamics. Jacob Fatu steps slightly forward now. Not threatening. Just present. And that presence changes the energy again. Roman notices it. Of course he does. You see what I'm talking about? Roman says, almost calmly. He walks in and suddenly everything changes. But Jacob shakes his head. It's not about me changing anything. And for the first time, there's honesty in the air that even Roman can't easily dismiss. But trust? That's still not there. Not fully. Not yet. Roman looks between all of them again, like a man trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape. And then he says something quieter. Just remember who built this. No anger. No threat. Just history. And history in the bloodline is everything. Because it's not just about the present.